brand new book is Building a Non-Anxious Life by Dr. John Delony. So, John, we're talking in the first segment that anxiety is an alarm. It's the symptom, not the problem. And out of that construct, you built the 6 daily choices that you go through in the book to build a non-anxious life.
Yeah, so the idea being more people than ever before in human history are under the care of a mental health professional. More people than ever before in human history are medicated. We have access to more people via our devices than anyone could ever fathom throughout history. You have 4 million quote unquote followers or friends on Instagram, right?
I'm not confused that they're friends.
That sort of human access is insane. Just going back up 50 years, right? And the anxiety and depression and all these different things are up off the charts. And so we have to step back and say, okay, what we're chasing this thing down whack-a-mole isn't working. And that led me to, what if I created a world? What are the steps I could teach? Sit down with somebody who's not have 15 PhDs and figure, what are the steps I can take in my house so I can be a more present dad, a better business owner, better leader, so that my alarms stop ringing off all the time. And when they do go off, I know that there's actually something there. And so that was, how can I distill all this stuff down? And we landed on those 6 choices. The first one of which is you have to own reality. You have to choose reality. What is the state of your marriage? Are you 30 pounds overweight? Are you working 20 hours a day and you're on year 4 because it's not sustainable? What's the state of your finances? What's the state of your business? What's the state of your team? Do your kids walk in the house and they walk past you and shut the door because they don't want to talk to you? And that's choosing reality. Where are you? And
last 10% of truth, Jim Collins calls it.
We are in an age of distraction. Everything in our culture helps us avoid
denial.
That. And that's right. But we can deny it. I don't have to believe in anything bigger than me because I can go outside and just hit a button and food shows up on my front porch. I can pretend I run the world.
Yeah, you have a magic wand in your hand.
Until COVID comes and supply chain happens, right? And suddenly there's fields of F-150s missing an inch by 1 inch little piece of computer chip, and none of them run, right? And now you got a problem. So you got to choose reality. The second one is you have to choose connection. And if in the EMS crowd hears me all the time, there is no mental or emotional health built on anything other than a foundation of you've got a group of people that you can lean on. When the human body understands it's lonely, it will sound every alarm it has to get you back with other people. It was not designed to run the ship by itself.
And, Stephen Mansfield spoke a few years ago at Entre for some of you that were there, and he talks about the 10 signs of a leadership failure, a moral crash or a breakdown or a meltdown of leadership. And one of those is loneliness. One of those is no connection. Well, it's lonely at the top. No, it's lonely if you choose.
If you choose it.
But you have to, it is easy. The default mechanism, it's harder to find eagles because they don't flock if you're flying at a high level, but you can find them.
And it's a work you have to do.
Yeah.
It's an
act of intentionality.
It's a part of the job.
Yeah, you have to go, okay, I cannot be the Lone Ranger, even he had Tonto. I mean, I got to have some guys, if you're gals, I got to have some other business people that I can share with. I got to have a group I get together and do X or Y with, whatever maybe it's recreation, maybe it's just hang time. I got a bunch of guys I get with once a month, cigar night. We just sit around and they're all high players, but sometimes we just goof off. We don't say anything important. And other times we talk about, this really deep book that John Delony wrote on building a non-anxious life.
It can be goofy. Hey guys, my marriage is in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. And I think when we over dramatize those moments together, we got to get an ROI on this. No, dude, just go be. If you just go be and just go be and just go be,
the others show up.
One of the guys will show up, right? And then you move on to you have to choose freedom. And I think you and I have had some great back porch conversations about this. If you lay the stock market growth over the last 150 years, and then you lay the national debt and the personal debt on top of that hockey stick, and then you lay the everything from mental health diagnosis to people in jail, we have a very sick culture, and I can't attach causality to it. Those studies haven't been done. But when the human body knows you are not in control of what you do right now, that you get up tomorrow to go to work because the bank told you to, because they're going to take your car from you, they're going to take your house from you, they're going to take your food from you, your body would be failing you if it let you sleep. So if you owe money, if somebody else is running your life, whether it's your mother-in-law, whether it's your kid's soccer coach, or whether it's a bank, your body will sound the alarms.
Yeah, the freedom. And the joke line we always use on that is, if you're an employee and you come in Monday morning, the boss starts cussing at you and you don't have any debt, you start walking off.
Yeah.
Where are you going? I don't have any debt.
Not listening to this.
Not listening to your crap. Yeah. And that's true if you got a nasty vendor. It's true if you got a nasty customer that you need to fire. You can't fire a nasty customer if you're broke and you got SBA payments. You got no freedom. You're stuck. And that creates anxiety.
Correct. And you have to swim in sewage.
No, the opposite of it is peace. That's why we call it financial peace. Two words that don't go together, like airline service, right? I mean, unbelievable.
The next one is mindfulness. And I really debated making this the title, because when I think of mindfulness, I think of an old man with a long beard on a cloud sitting with his hand, meditating.
Doing LSD.
Right. When I say choose mindfulness, here's what I mean. Choose awareness and choose curiosity. Those two words will get more people through more situations. So when you start to snap and yell at the Little League coach in your kid's game, just for a second, be curious. Why am I so mad at that 15-year-old wearing the umpire suit that's too big? This is a Little League game. Why am I so enraged? It's not against that guy. Or if that guy cuts you off in traffic, why did I instantly create a story about how he's on drugs and he hates everybody and he's just trying to kill people, stupid millennial, instead of creating a story, he's just trying to get to his wife in the hospital before she dies. I get to pick which one of those stories. One of those is going to give me a stroke and a heart attack. One of those is going to calm my body down. So if you can be aware and curious, that employee just came in late for the 4th day in a row. That's not like that guy. I'm aware. I noticed it. I'm going to go sit down and be like, hey, you're not all right because this isn't like you. That's curiosity and awareness, and it brings the temperature down in every room you come into. That guy, I trust him in every one of the things he does, and he just brought me a presentation that's awful. I'm going to be curious about that, because me hitting him in the mouth right now is not, he knows that the presentation wasn't great. So and that happens with your wife, with your kids, with your employees, with your that vendor's late again on that payment. I can get enraged and go to war, or I can go visit them. One of those two, right? And then the last, and then you got to choose health and healing, and that's really own your past, change your future, right? I got to choose to move my body. I got to choose to exercise. If you wake up and have 4 Monster Energy drinks and 2 cups of coffee, and you put a dip in, and you wonder why your heartbeat is beating out of your chest, you're not choosing health, right? And some of us have old traumas we got to heal from. We have relationship issues we got to heal from, and that's in that bucket. And that final one is choosing belief. And here's ultimately what I mean by that. For all of human history, your tribe was bonded by God, or whatever your tribe believed in. That higher power, that God told you what you're going to wear, what roles were, who was going to do what where, but that bonded you together. And you walked outside and you looked up in the sky and you said, "Dear God, please rain or my kids die." And over the last 100, 200 years, we've gotten real cocky, because we pump water from 4 miles underground, and we hit a button and food delivers, and we start to think we're the center of the universe. And then we came up with these cute little psychological theories that told us all the goal of life is self-actualization, that you can finally become the center of your universe. And if you look back what Carl Jung wrote about and Freud wrote about, we're here, we made it, we're all self-actualized, we have everything. And the self was never made to hold the universe. And so you have to take a knee to something bigger than yourself. I'm a Christian guy. I've chosen belief in God and Jesus. That's my path. But dude, I'll tell you what, this idea that I'm the center, the world revolves around me, is killing us all.
Now, the most mental illness prone is the hedonist.
Because
it's self-centered.
Well, and look at our culture, Dave.
Pleasure-driven.
We cut all the tethers, right? And this is all sides of the political spectrum. The writers are saying, like, we cut all the tethers from belief. And when you worship yourself, you end up worshiping, how do I feel about this? And then you start creating things and saying insane things like
feeling is truth.
My truth, right? That's an oxymoronic statement. It doesn't make any sense. how I feel about something is true, but you can't, my truth, that's not even a thing. But you start going down this path of, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. And then all of a sudden we get the mess we have now. Right.
Peretti said, you can't have your truth and I have my truth, because one of them by definition is not the truth.
That's exactly right. And you can't have a bunch of little spheres bumping into each other as we're all in these little bubbles, because that's what we've created with our little cell phones. We stare at our phones, we bump into each other's little bubbles, and your body screams off the hook.
And then they troll up. Yeah, that's where it comes
So
from.
you have to have the courage to say, I cannot hold up the center of the universe. I'm going to choose belief. And man, that goes in a loop, and some things are easier from others. A couple of those are going to be real easy for you. A couple of those are going to be like, that's a challenge. And a couple of those,
well, and it depends on the day.
Real hard. That's exactly right.
That's why it's a daily choice.
That's
I mean,
right.
some days you can choose reality more than other days. Some days you can choose freedom or working towards it more than other days. Some days you can choose belief or health or healing. Yeah, and so, but that's why it's 6 daily choices. The book is Building a Non-Anxious Life by Dr. John Delony. You can get it right now if you go at the second, real quick, on pre-sale, because it comes out October the 3rd. After that, all the extra $75 worth of goodies is gone. And so, you want to go ahead and get it at RamseySolutions.com as fast as you possibly can.